Hello, welcome to Cardboard and Plastic. Today's video is about CGC grading. So, if you do have any questions about CGC grading, leave them in the comments. I'll definitely get back to you and give you some more information if you need it. But I want to go over a little bit about the history of the CGC, why I'm using them, and the pros, the cons of using them. With PSA right now, there are so many people just complaining about PSA bending the corners of cards. It's all over the place, and they're doing something. I don't know if they're feeding cards through machines, if they just got people really quick just trying to get those things out of the card savers. Something is definitely going on, and the harsh grading is one thing, but them damaging my cards is what stopped me from ever submitting to PSA. SGC, CGC, they never have damaged one of my cards that I really could tell. So that's why I'm only using SGC and CGC going forward. So in the background, these are the old labels. I never submitted cards with the old labels, and I've submitted over probably 1,000 cards with CSG, CGC. So with this here, these are the old labels, the green labels, and they did have subgrades in the beginning, and 9.5 was their gem mint. So you were a beta tester if you used them. Especially in the beginning where they had the green labels, and then they decided to get rid of subgrades, and these labels were designed for subgrades, right? So as soon as they got rid of subgrades, they changed the labels to kind of these black labels, but then they still had 9.5 as a gem mint, and then they had to change their grading scale to align with PSA and SGC and not with Beckett. But these are some of the green labels I have. Now, for some of these, I think it looks kind of neat having the green label with like the Giannis rookie there with the green there. So kind of like a little color match. They're still nice. They're the same slabs. They just kind of changed what the label looks like. And they kind of masked how big they look. Right. This Pete Rose is gorgeous with the centering, right? So got 9 for centering, but this is a gorgeous card. And this is how CSG started. The reason I didn't grade with them was when they first came out, I think it was like $7.20, maybe even cheaper to grade with them. And this was like during the heights of like 2021 where everything was booming, and they got so many submissions to CSG at the time that they got super backlogged. And at the time I already went through like backlogs with SGC and PSA, so I was like, I'm not dealing with backlogs anymore. I need a company to turn around these cards in a decent time. So I started using CSG, and I'll show you a few cards that I did submit. And what I did in the beginning, I was using these for kind of some of my bigger and thicker type of cards because I think the modern just looks so much better in the CSG or CGC slabs. So this is my Kareem, and by the way, I'll get into like another video there. I hate on-card autos that are like just regular Topps cards that weren't designed for it. This is how I collect I do pack pulled. I just prefer them. The cards that were designed to be signed. I just like them a little bit better. So got a beautiful Kareem. And this is another one that's thicker card, but Altuve and Biggio there. And this is a card it just sold for like $375. I'm thinking about maybe selling this one. I really don't care about Mike, but Carl for the Hall of Famer there, so I prefer to have basically solo cards, but this is kind of a neat one. I don't know what part of the uniform that's from, but that's kind of a cool patch there. And they say game used. So when I started using them, I used them for vintage a little bit. And in the beginning, they were definitely a little bit more lenient, especially with corners, right? So we got a little ding corner down there. That's how I submitted it. I was expecting like a 6, and that's kind of what PSA would probably grade this as. SGC, maybe a 6.5 at the highest. But some of these cards are overgraded a little bit, but that's a beautiful card with the surface, with really no of the ugly print defects on it. But one of the things that kind of bothers me with CSG in the beginning, and this is now in a new CGC holder, they didn't take it out of the stupid plastic baggie. It got kind of upset at them. And the plastic baggies used to be a bigger problem than they are now. So in the past, I used to submit like 30 card orders, and out of the 30 cards, 5 to 10 would be put in plastic sleeves, right, inside the holders. They did change their holders around, so they have basically like kind of like one for like the Pokemon type size, and then they made them a little bit bigger to hold like slightly larger cards, because sports cards are not all cut the same. So my last order, typically I usually got like 5 to 10. Now I got 1 out of 30. So they're getting a lot better with getting cards into the holders. And this is another card. And really their grading has really picked up a little bit, and they're very close to matching SGC. Sometimes PSA, it depends on what type of grader. But these cards are pretty identical. They got the same grade. I do prefer CGC for a lot of slabs, especially like the darker cards like this, like the black and the black. It's just too much, right? I think this does look better. And I really like the look of vintage inside of the holders. What they have done recently is, if you ever had like a 33 Gaudi, a T206, a 1950 Bowman, they were always put into sleeves. Now, they actually have a lot of holders for the common size vintage, right? So this is a Diamond Stars, and they actually have holders, not plastic sleeves, that are designed for it, right? So this is definitely something that is a big improvement and much appreciated. Be careful though, do not submit oversized cards to CGC. They do not have holders for tall boys. They do not have holders for anything bigger. They say that they have these holders. They're not holders. They're basically card savers, which they basically seal up and they put the sticker on. It's very strange looking. And another thing I just want to warn people about is, and I'll basically zoom up here. So if you want to take a look at the cert number and the image that CGC has, this is something that is kind of a problem if you want to sell cards. This card has beautiful colors. However, if you look at the image on CGC for their the seller-ready images, they're all washed out for vintage. It's the way that they take the images with the lighting. It is, for vintage, it does the cards a disservice. So when you're looking for cards and you have a SGC card and a CGC card, the CGC will be like washed out looking, it'll be like very pale looking. And then the SGC, the way that they take their images, they're sometimes even darker than they are in person. So when you get an SGC card in the mail, right, you see the images online, sometimes you're actually a little disappointed because the colors aren't as bright in person. The opposite is true for CGC, that you get the image, you see the image, and then you get the card in hand, like, wow, this card looks so much better in hand. It's the way that they just take their images. Now, for pricing, for grading, do not just become a common member, right? So the first level is stupid. You always do the second level membership where it costs $150. You also get $150 in credit, right? So it's a wash. You get the money back. However, sometimes they have deals during the 10/10. It did end. I got $130 and I get $150 credit, right? So they'll probably have like a Black Friday deal. Now, the next level up is the Elite. Oh, by the way, so you also get 10% off for the $150 with the $150 credit. So if they say it's $14 to grade for bulk, it's actually $12.60. If it's $17 to grade for the standard, it's actually $15.30, right? $1.70 off, which is basically the same price as SGC. Now, if you do the Elite, that gets you 20% off. It does cost, I think, like $293. They give you an offer. It's only works out if you do basically grade another 100 cards, right? So, because you get an extra 10% off, but you also don't get like $300 in credit. For $300, you get $150 in credit. So you have to grade over 100 cards for it to make sense. So I really say, just get the middle membership. You get the 10% off. If you grade over 100 cards, you get the Elite. You definitely will save money off of that. And really, for the price and the slab, it's a great deal, in my opinion. Now, another benefit of CGC over SGC is they now, and I don't have any cards that have it, but they partnered with JSA. So if you like having autographs, right, signed in person by an athlete or through the mail, right, and you want to get it authenticated, they do have that service available for you, which SGC doesn't. They also do have a registry that not a lot of people participate, but you can actually put your cards in the registry and kind of use it as a checklist. So that's another little positive that they do have. I really haven't had a problem. Decent customer service. They usually get back to you in a day or two. Never had a big problem with them. And probably better customer service right now than SGC with the way that Collectors Universe has treated that brand. So I just wanted to put a quick video out there just to kind of give you my thoughts and opinions about CGC. In the comments below, let me know what your experience with the company is. Do you have any slabs? Did you purchase them online and were disappointed or happy with the card inside? Just really kind of interested because with vintage, they just look so much worse from the pictures online, and then get them in hand. It's just so much nicer. So I did get a card through the eBay authentication process over a week. So I'll be showing off that card when that comes. It's a card that I previously had and I super missed it, and I will get it back in my collection. So as always, thank you for watching. Have a great day and keep on collecting.